Hi students, welcome back. Now let's go through the remaining portions of the chapter. Try these tests on cooked food items as well as raw materials. Table 2.2 shows you a way to record the observations from these tests. Some food items are given in this table. You can conduct the test either with these or any other available food items. Do these tests carefully and do not try to eat or taste any chemicals. If the required solution are not available in ready-made form, your teacher can prepare them as given in the box. Let us begin by testing different food items to see if they contain carbohydrates. There are many types of carbohydrates. The main carbohydrates found in our food are in the form of starch and sugars. We can easily test if a food item contains starch. So we can do these experiments to find out the nutrients on both cooked as well as raw materials. Okay. And we have to record the result in table 2.2. So the first test is to identify whether food contains carbohydrate. We know that carbohydrate is one of the nutrient, isn't it? So we can do the first test, which is to find out whether the food is containing carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are found in the form of starch and sugar. So it is available in the form of starch and sugar in food items, isn't it? So let us do the test for starch. Activity number 2. Test for starch. Take a small quantity of a food item or a raw ingredient. Put 2-3 drops of dilute iodine solution on it. Observe if there is any change in the color of the food item. Did it turn blue-black? A blue-black color indicates that it contains starch. Repeat this test with other food items to find out which of these contains starch. Enter all your observations in table 2.2. So the activity is test for starch. Why we are doing the test for starch? To identify whether our food item is containing carbohydrate. We know that carbohydrate is a nutrient and it is found in the form of starch and sugar in food. So to identify whether the carbohydrate is present in a food, we have to do the test for starch. Okay. For doing this test, we have to take a small quantity of food item or a raw ingredient. We can take either cooked food or raw food. Okay, a small quantity of this item is taken and then we have to add 2-3 drops of dilute iodine solution on it. We know how to prepare a dilute solution of iodine, isn't it? We have already seen it. So we have to add just 2-3 drops of this dilute iodine solution onto the food material that we have taken. Then we have to observe the change in color. If the food item contains starch, then it will turn into blue-black color. For the food item which does not have this carbohydrate, it won't show any change in the color. Okay, so if starch is present, it will turn to blue-black color. Okay, for example, we can take potato. So a small slice of potato is taken. Okay, a small piece, we can cut it out and take that small piece of potato. To this potato, just add 2-3 drops of dilute iodine solution. What we will observe? Yes, we can see the change in color to blue-black color. Do you know why? Yes, it's because of the presence of starch in potato. Now we can do the same experiment with milk. Milk does not have starch, so its color won't change. Okay. So potato is having starch, that's why its color got changed to blue-black color, whereas milk won't change its color because it does not contain starch. The next one is test for protein. Take a small quantity of a food item for testing. If the food you want to test is a solid, you first need to make a paste of it or powder it. Grind or mash a small quantity of the food item, put some of this in a clean test tube and add 10 drops of water to it and shake the test tube. Now using a dropper, Add 2 drops of solution of copper sulfate and 10 drops of solution of caustic soda to the test tube. Shake well and let the test tube stand for a few minutes. What do you see? Did the contents of the test tube turn violet? A violet color indicates the presence of proteins in the food item. Now you can repeat this test on other food items. So the next experiment is test for protein. To identify the given food item contain protein. Protein is also a nutrient. Okay, for this we have to take small quantity of food item as we have taken in the experiment test for starch. Okay, so we have to take small quantity of food item. But in this case we can't take solid food item. We have to either mash it into a paste or grind it into a powder. Okay, so we can't take solid food item. If we are having a solid food, then we have to convert it into a paste or powder. Okay, after doing so, we have to take the small quantity of this item into a clean test tube and then add 10 drops of water to it and then shake the test tube well. So to a clean test tube, add the so prepared food item and then add 10 drops of water and shake well. Now using a dropper, we can add 2 drops of solution of copper sulfate. Okay, 2 drops of copper sulfate solution is also added to this test tube. Along with that, 10 drops of solution of caustic soda is also added. So, what all things we have added? We have taken a clean test tube, then our food material is added into it first, isn't it? Then we have added 10 drops of water. Isn't it? Then shaken it well. Then using a dropper we have added 2 drops of copper sulfate solution and 10 drops of caustic soda solution. Okay. Then we have to shake this test tube well and then let it be undisturbed for few minutes. Okay. Keep it aside for few minutes. Then we will observe that the test tube had turned into violet color. Do you know why it had turned into violet color? Yes, it's because of the presence of proteins. Okay, if the taken food item is having protein, then the test tube its content will turn into violet color. Okay, so we can do this experiment with milk. So what we have to do? Take milk in a clean test tube, then add 10 drops of water and shake it, then add 2 drops of copper sulfate solution and 10 drops of caustic soda. What we will observe? After some time we can see that the content had turned into violet color. So we can conclude that milk contains protein, isn't it? Okay. Coming to the next topic, test for fat. Take a small quantity of a food item, wrap it in a piece of paper and crush it. Take care that the paper does not tear. Now straighten the paper and observe it carefully. Does it have an oily patch? Hold the paper against light. Are you able to see the light faintly through this patch? An oily patch on paper shows that the food item contains fat. The food item may sometimes contain a little water. Therefore, after you have rubbed an item on the paper, let the paper dry for a while. If there were any water that may have come from the food, it would dry up after some time. If no oily patch shows up after this, the food item does not contain any fat. So the next one is test for fat. This is such an easy experiment as it does not require any chemicals or any other materials such as test tube or dropper is not needed for this experiment. It all requires is a piece of paper. So we have to take the quantity of we have to take a small quantity of food which is needed to be tested, isn't it? So we have to take the small quantity of food in a piece of paper and then wrap it. Then we have to crush it. Okay, and we have to make sure that the paper does not tear. Okay, while crushing there is a chance of tearing the paper, so make sure that the paper does not tear. Then after doing so, we can hold the paper against light. If we see light faintly through this patch, then we can conclude that the food material contains fat. Sometimes the food items may also have water content. So we have to dry this paper before holding it against the light. Okay. Actually this experiment is very much familiar to us, isn't it? From bakery, when we are buying something, we will get a brown paper along with that, isn't it? For pastries and all, we will get a brown envelope along with that pastry. And in that pastry, on that pastry itself, we can see an oily patch. Do you know why? It's because the pastry contained fat. Okay, so it's very familiar for us. So coming to table 2.2, nutrients present in some food items. So we can fill up this table. Okay. The first food item is raw potato. It contains starch. Protein is not present in raw potato and fat also. It's also not present in raw potato. So milk. Starch is not there in milk, but it contains protein. Next one. Yes, it also contains fat. So milk contains protein and fat. Next one, groundnut. Groundnut contains, yes, it also contains protein and fat. It does not contain starch. Next one, uncooked powdered rice. It contains starch. It does not have protein and fat. Okay. Next one, cooked rice. It is also same as that of uncooked powdered rice. It also contains starch and it does not contain protein and fat. Next one, dry coconut. Dry coconut does not contain starch and protein, whereas it contains fat. Next one, uncooked tur dal. It does not contain starch and fat. It only contains protein. Okay. Next one, cooked dal. It does not contain starch, but it contains protein and fat. Next one, a slice of any vegetable. It does not contain any of these three. It does not have starch, protein or fat. Okay. A slice of any fruit. It is also same as that of the slice of vegetable. It also does not contain starch, protein or fat. Next one, boiled egg. The white portion of the boiled egg. It contains protein. It does not contain starch and fat. Okay. Have you filled up the table? Yes. What do these tests show? Are fats, proteins and starch present in all the food items that you tested? Does a food item contain more than one nutrient? Do you find any food item that does not contain any of these nutrients? Okay, so after completing this experiment, we are now able to tell which all food item contain which all nutrients, isn't it? Yes, we are seeing that for some food item, there are more than one nutrient present, isn't it? For example, milk, we are seeing that it contains both protein and fat, isn't it? Yes, for a slice of vegetable or a slice of fruit, there's nothing like this. No nutrients are there. There's no starch, no fat and no protein. Okay. So, these are the food items that does not contain any of these nutrients. Okay. We tested food items for 3 nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins and fats. There are also other nutrients like vitamins and minerals that are present in different food items. Why do we need all these nutrients? So, we have only tested for 3 nutrients, isn't it? For starch, protein and fat. There are also other nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. That's why we haven't seen any of the given nutrients for vegetable and fruit. Because vegetable and fruit does not contain starch, protein and fat. It contains vitamins and minerals. That's why we didn't get any nutrients for these vegetables and fruits, isn't it? So, some food items contain starch, protein and fat. Some of the food items contain vitamins and minerals. Okay, so we have learned to check how to identify a food item which contains starch, protein and fat, isn't it? Okay, we need all these types of nutrients. It's starch, protein, fat, vitamins or minerals. So, we need all type of nutrients. There's no division between starch, protein, fat or vitamins and minerals. We need all of them, isn't it? So, nutrients are very essential for our body. So, students, we will discuss the remaining portion of the chapter in next video. all of you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you will get the notification of next video. See you soon. Thank you.